Hi, I'm Dan Limbach, producer of the PharmaVOICE Webcast Network at the Scope Summit in Orlando, Florida. In this Editor's Take video, I meet with Andy Greenberg, Global Digital Lead for Life Sciences at Accenture. Andy, thank you for taking some time out from the Scope Conference in Orlando, Florida to meet with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's great to be here in Orlando and really enjoying the session so far.
Andy, when you look at the life sciences industry, how are client needs evolving? What's staying the same and what's changing?
From the outset, what should and has not changed at all is the focus on bringing life-saving and life-improving therapies to patients, and that should never change. What has changed is the urgency to figure out how to do that better. In what we call compressive disruption, we've seen a really significant set of things happening in the pharma space that makes it even more clear how important it is to figure this out. The first thing that we're seeing is if a new therapy is brought to market and you're first to bring it there, in 2001, you'd have a 10.5-year window of being in first place. As of now, that's 5 years. At the same time, the replacement ratios for drugs coming off patent, meaning how do I take a drug that's now come off patent and replace it with a new therapy that will drive similar volumes and revenues, the number of new therapies I need to introduce to deliver that has doubled. So again, really important changes. And then the third thing is because of that combination, as you look at how the investment community is viewing the life sciences industry, their valuation of the growth or revenues of the industry continues to decline. Now that's the bad news. The good news is through what we describe as new science, which is this introduction of new therapies. So on the one hand, think of things like CAR T, where a completely new approach, needle to needle, those types of approaches. Those are completely new. Underneath that is the use of technologies to support those therapies, whether as a companion or a new data collection. And then finally, where we're seeing true digital therapeutics. Well, imagine now that I'm not just competing with other drug makers, I'm actually competing with people who are simply delivering technology that has similar clinical outcomes. And when you put all of that together, those types of solutions are actually delivering 54% of the expected revenue in the coming years from pharma. And interestingly, although you'd expect that to be more of a challenge from a drug approval process, these therapies are being approved at a 50% higher rate than other therapies. And so what that puts us in a position to do is we as Accenture need to be able to support our clients, our partners' efforts in delivering those therapies in new and different ways. And that has implications on user experience from a patient perspective, from an investigator perspective, from a sponsor perspective, and being able to create a thread, a platform like Intient that allows that data to flow freely and to be used by the right stakeholders in the right way is enormously important.
So how is Accenture changing its focus to better support pharma and biotech companies as they grow and change?
As we look at the move towards a focus on the patient, Accenture is working to make sure that we're in lockstep with our pharma partners and biotech partners to make sure that they're able to do that. And what that means is we're going to create enabling platforms like Intient that allow them to take data from any source of any type, whether that be consumer devices, clinical devices, electronic health records, or otherwise, and to ingest and orchestrate that data in a way that allows drugs to be brought to market more quickly, more safely, and ultimately to deliver better outcomes for patients.
Well, that's great news for everybody in the industry and for the patients, of course. What do you see as the primary obstacles to broader adoption of digital technologies in clinical trials?
You know, it's a really interesting question about adoption. If we had asked this 2 or 3 years ago, there were a lot of questions about the ability of the technologies to actually deliver. Can I get a device that can collect heart rate? Can I get a device that can measure respiration? Those were real questions that needed to be answered. And so lots of piloting, a lot of testing around the technical capabilities of moving and capturing data. The interesting evolution is as we're now saying, how do we create an enterprise level capability at our pharma clients or our pharma partners that enables them to truly make a difference in the business? The shift has moved from a technology question to much more an organizational process and people question. What do I need to do within my organization from a governance perspective to be able to partner with new partners I would have never considered before? What do I need to do to be able to take data sources I had never thought of before? But how does this change how my employees do their jobs, how sites do their jobs? If I'm not accounting for that at the beginning, I wind up with a pilot where I may prove a small thing, but I'm not in a position to then deploy that at scale.
Well, these are indeed exciting times. Andy, thank you for spending some time with us at the Scope Conference.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be here.
Thank you for watching this Editor's Take video. For more information about Accenture, visit accenture.com. And don't forget to check out our other Editor's Take videos at pharmavoice.com/videos.